Hi guys, we're almost the end of the month, which means we make 2 videos, as usual, as always. How to stay rolling, that's this video, and what is new is gonna be the next. So I have installed the old ISO. I spared you the installation time, and off we go. We boot up with the ISO of beginning of March, which means a little bit before that, a week before the beginning of March. So let's say mid-February, somewhere there. But let's ask the system and explain to you guys that ISO is great, but it only reflects the ISO you've installed it with. Nothing more, but also nothing less. I mean, it's important for us to know the user started with ISO of March 24 and it was created February the 9th even, right? And then we tested it, and then we gave it to you. So bottom line, I'll say that in the what's new video as well. ISO is the ISO number, the release that I'm now here highlighting will never ever change, right? It is a fixed moment in time. It's that ISO that you used to install it, and then we can remember what changes have we done in year 2024. We're now 2025. He started with that ISO and then you start rolling, right? It's a rolling release, ArcoLinux. So ArcoLinux is as well. So anything ArcoLinux based is as well, unless you hold back updates, and I suppose Manjaro is one of those that does that. So we are rolling, meaning this thing will never change, and we're updating. All right. So this is a few months, well, weeks, 1 month, 1.5, I suppose, of updates. What does that matter? It matters because if you're living in the world where there is hardly any internet connection or you have low bandwidth, it's a lot of updates. ArcoLinux is updating all the time. Linux kernels, 3, 4, probably a month, right? So what is the procedure to update? Super simple. It's called update. But do you want to make it an educational thing or not, right? Yes, ArcoLinux is a university. The point of ArcoLinux is making you self-reliant, independent of anything based on Arch. With all the knowledge we give you, you choose the ArcoLinux based distro, and then be in control, because it's all about services and packages and how to solve and figure things out, and that's what we provide you, and then you can swarm out to anything ArcoLinux based. Okay, and of course to ArcoLinux itself. Teaching means aliases. Aliases means, oh, there's a lot. To learn what's new, so how to stay rolling, is also a little bit how to know what's going on your system, and a backup shell is a good way of doing that. Doesn't cost you anything, and it will provide you in your Thunar. If you set the show hidden files here, Ctrl-H is the shortcut, you see a folder pop up. Backup the shell. And shell is the etc shell. If you ask or Google the information what is shell is, some people say it's skeleton. The thing is, if you create a user, and Calamar has created Eric, right, home Eric, then he's gonna copy paste all of this in the folder home Eric. So it's in here. So if I change something, I'm thinking of changing it for the future ISO, so it's going to etc shell. Configuration of i3, BSP, WM, etc. They go in there. Thunar, right mouse click, we change something, it's gonna be in etc shell. We're never ever gonna write in your home directory unless we give you a clear message, right? We need to do this, otherwise we can't have a working system then, of course. So backup shell, update, that's what you need to stay rolling, and then we have a look how many gigabytes is it. We have already a problem. So with what we do in ArcoLinux is we have all kind of social media channels, and on YouTube we have playlists like fixes, right? It's called ArcoLinux fixes. So in that regard, everything is listed. If anything comes like this comes in the picture, you'll have the title, Quantum Qt5 and Qt6 are in conflict, how to solve it. On Discord we have fixes and we spread the word. Telegram also. The thing is, we need to solve an issue that wasn't an issue before. Packages are created, or the package builds for the packages are created by other people. ArcoLinux people, AOR people, Arch user repository people. Anybody can make package builds and decide suddenly, let's conflict them. And then you have this. Okay, so that's what happened. So sudo pacman -r, we're going to remove quantum 6. Remove it. And then we update. So at some point in time, guys said, let's make these two conflict each other, and everything stops. And then we update 1.5 gigabyte, right? It is what it is, but it's only a net upgrade size of 70 megabyte, which is nothing, but it will cost you bandwidth, right? So living in all kind of, not naming any part of the world, but we know that, well, it's not equal, right? Bandwidth and speed and all that, even absence of electricity. I mean, we hear all kinds of things. The world is not the same everywhere. So decide your Linux distribution carefully, because we have a lot of updates. The keyring, the word keyring, right? Every video that I make, I probably gonna say this, there's just one thing relevant. If you see the word key and an issue, you need to remember this package, ArcoLinux keyring. Type archwiki keyring. I probably get the good link saying, hey, packages are signed by keys, by people have keys, so that we know that we can trust the package. And although it's about security and trust and all that, yeah, it's sometimes a pain in the you know where, right? But if you remember to update before, if you do this before an update, for example, but most of the time, like you see today, there is no issue since beginning, well, mid-February, right? So already quite a few weeks, no issues with ArcoLinux keyring, but it can pop up right now, and then people forget to update their keyring. Keyring is not valid anymore, and then there are issues, right? But normally ArcoLinux keyring is quickly, but we need to, as manually as users, we need to get that package in from time to time. This is actually something interesting. We give support for certain hardware things. Me personally, I don't have Realtek. You can look it up, RTL Realtek, right? So if you don't have it, why wait for this to create all these files in the init RAM file system and all that, right? Why would you build something that we don't have? So check out your hardware and say, I don't have that either. Then it's a remove for you. And sometimes it's a remove with an S, so the dependencies go with it, but I don't think there are any dependencies in this case. But you never know, right? So RS. It's finished. I can only press enter if this one is finished. Pacman can only work if there's one of them. Okay. And then we remove, DKMS goes as well. Well, that's okay for me. But if you would have NVIDIA DKMS, right? Then, well, it will not be listed because it will be needed for NVIDIA. So it won't be there. But Just saying, right? So DKMS, bye. This will make my creation of these files quicker, because he does not have to create the files for it. He's making files, modules. This makes it quicker and, well, cleaner as well. There is a message somewhere up here I see that we should address. Warning. It's okay if you intend to reinstall anyway in May, right? With the new ISO, right? We've got rid of it. So the basis, as usual, is ArcoLinux. And ArcoLinux decides to put a certain code inside a certain file. And later on they decide to get rid of that certain code. And voila, that's it. You see where it is, etc, make init CPO, etc. So if you go to File System, etc, make init CPO, .d, so the D stands for daemon. If I click on the right folder, there are two folders like that, Linux preset. So what they're saying is we should forget about the all microcode. So this line up here, they've put it in, and now they put it out, right? Say, let's forget about it. And that's why we have something called add microcode. It's up to the user to decide if you want microcode, yes or no. Arch wiki microcode. We are teachers, right? So if you're not interested, just scroll through the video. But this is about microcode. There are two things, Intel and AMD, two processors, and that's all it is. It's basically a way to fix things. Processor manufacturers release stability and security updates to the processor, etc. Bug fixes can be critical. In my case, guys, 6 years time, never used Intel Ucode. I have an Intel PC. Tried it because of the script that we've made, but I've removed it again, right? So it's up to you to decide, and not up to us or up to Arch. You decide whether you put in here the words microcode, and maybe let's finish the story. So a little bit of what is new, right? Add microcode. It's just a script. We've explained you how we create scripts. So batch scripting is important because it's basically an employee, right? You have somebody that runs the work for you. The tedious work is done with click. It installs Intel or AMD. It knows where it is, and it adds microcode to the file after auto detect. So everything is taken care of, and a shortcut to the file is this one, and you'll see that microcode is here. If I have to do that with every single PC or SSD that I have, it's tedious. Script things. So add microcode is implemented from now on, and only if you want it, right? If you want to remove it, say not my thing, right? After deciding, nah, I don't think it's any better, or it's the same, or just want to get rid of it again, just go in here. There's no script to remove it. Just click this, Ctrl X, yes. There are many aliases. Let's start with an N. N is nano. Open me this, open me that, open me this, open me that. These are all the critical files. Well, not all I see, but many critical files are in here. So to have a quick understanding, okay, what's going on, right? So ngrub is going to open this. Going to change it, grub timeout to 4. Okay, now it's 4 seconds. So what, right? Ctrl X, done, save. So quick access to the important files. Read your aliases. All right, wow. What's new, right? That's this. So we've done an update. What you do after an update is make another image, backup scale. What you see is two files, two folders better, and we're gonna compare them and learn what is new. There are a few new bash scripts, bash aliases, but since it has been a while and there was a message, hey guys, reboot, right? We are going to reboot and apply new kernels, new systemd, all kind of files. Let's press Ctrl R to quicken things a bit. And we're grub. That's why that's because I press Ctrl R, reboot. It's a virtual machine, we can do that here. So, latest kernel, yes, latest kernel. That's 682 in this case, 16 seconds, thank you. What have we installed? RIP, we have installed these things. Intel UCode was my last thing. Don't want it. Minus remove Intel UCode, bye. It's out again. All right. And then let's have a look at our folder. These two guys should be compared. Before I forget, let's do one thing more, and that is upall. On a system where you've decided to install things with Paru and Yay, that's going to be updated. Ooh, something else to explain. Let's start with that. Like I told you, all the fixes, all the issues are on Discord or on YouTube, right? So have a look where you can find information. So let's do that again. Upall. What do we have? Sudo pacman minus remove paru. We've decided at some point in time, let's take the binary version, the bin version, right? It's the bin version that's not up to date. So paru git. Git is the very last commit. Anything with git is coming straight from GitHub or GitLab or anything like that. So we say yes please, bye bye, new version coming in, upall. That was it, right? And we share these solutions with you. So there's nothing to do, of course, because this is a clean install. Everything that we've installed is coming from our repo. But if you install something from AOR, Yay, Paru, it will be building it. All right, solved. How easy is that, right? It's all about knowledge, and we want to stress that it's just knowledge. File filters, set them off, the same. You don't want to see what's the same. You want to see what changed. You always have a folder to stay rolling. So the idea there is that you have an ISO and you have a clean install. But if you want to stay rolling, there are things that are changing on the ISO that are not changing on your machine. So sometimes we make decisions and then we make a script so you can stay rolling. You have the same configs and settings, etc., and applications that get removed or get installed, like on the ISO. The idea is to keep parallel, to be synced with what we changed on the ISO. That's the stay rolling. We have an ArcoLinux change theme that we need checking here. We need an UCA XML. At some point in time, I wanted to create to convert a WebP. So maybe you know, but I'm very interested in AI, and it's super. It's a tutor, it's a professor. It teaches me all kinds of things. It teaches me PHP, it teaches me Perl, it teaches me Bash. It teaches anything, right? It writes text for me. I mean, and at some point in time, I created an image, and I got a WebP back, which is great. But I'd like to convert it to GPG for websites. And I know, yes, I know it works on websites as well, but I want to be able to do that if I want it, right? So it's in there. We have a right mouse click on a WebP extension to convert it to a GPG. And that's the wonder of Thora, right? We have these custom actions, and then we're in control. We're totally in control. You can put anything in here that a right mouse click will fix. Variety desktop, delayed it 20 seconds, now it's 10 seconds, and then variety kicks in, and then some aliases. We have scripts to switch. You'll see that and hear that in the video what is new. That is very, very important to watch this news thing, and I'll say it here as well, right? Changing your bootloader can break things and leave you with an unresponsive system. So there's a disclaimer and a no warranty message there. Clearly states, guys, think before you act, right? But we do want to have the flexibility. If you want to have grub, okay, switch to boot, back to grub, back to refind, back to grub, back to boot. It's available. The flexibility is there. We are assuming, of course, that there is just the one system, ArcoLinux, on your SSD. We have no clue what else is on yours. Okay, so that's one of the new things. And then we've added how old approximation, right? It's not 100% correct, but at least we have some idea it's 5 years old or 10 years old, right? My PC. So how old is your hardware? So we can ask you, how old is the system? Oh yeah, it's already 14 years. We're not making a distro for older computers. We're making a distro for the new computer, right? There are other distros out there to support the very, 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 very old systems and still have something workable. And then we have the nmake package. So again, a new alias to go and investigate information. This is about making packages. So if you build a package, it's yeah, I'll explain later, right? It's not there. It's not found. No. We have to do something first. So that goes to the makepackage.conf. And this is another attempt to improve on the boot alias to figure out, am I on grub? Am I on systemd boot? And in the future, am I on refind, right? We need to have something 100% working in all cases, in all systems. So we'll figure it out. And that's it. Okay. Config, just the latest NeoFetch config. There's nothing really to mention. This is on and off. I see here an off and on, but basically, I mean, it's still the same NeoFetch as before. We have the set wallpaper, also the same thing. So these applications, NeoFetch and Variety, are not from us. They have a config. We have our own config, and from time to time we're gonna compare the original with ours, and we update a few texts and scripts and things like that. And that is exactly what happens here. Not really changing anything, but following the Variety settings here. And ours as well, because we have other texts that we have and nobody else has. As you see, it's just some text. And the bash RC, of course, will find the same aliases here again, right? Whether you choose ZSH or bash or fish shouldn't matter. Same aliases. All right, but now they're not used, right? Now they're just two folders in here, they're not used. There are two things to do. First of all, you saw there was a bash update. And you decide, you press Ctrl-Alt-T and wait for the terminal to appear. Now I've pressed it twice. And I have bash, right? If you have bash, you do cp, copy the bash. It's an alias, copy bash. Now I can type the new things like nmake package, was it? Nope, not that one. This one. So now we are in etc makepackage.conf, and one of the things we teach you is that there is this debug thing, and that's annoying. it creates all files with a debug as well. And it's huge, these debug files. So one of the things that I've added, again, to be quick about it, that's remove debug by changing debug to debug. You need to get out of here, open it up again, go down, and then you'll see that debug has a exclamation mark, meaning there, no work, you can't make any debugging files. Done, solved. So Paru, yay, all these guys, solved. You won't get a debug file. It takes time. It needs to be built, so it's not necessary. Voila. So the debug is out, and there are other things, but this is the CB. So bash is okay, ZSH is now okay, and the fish is now okay. But the only thing we've done now is the shells, and there were many more things to be done, right? We just solved this one, that one, and that one. All the rest is up to you to decide if you want it or not. If you say whatever, Eric will be right, you type skel. That's the easiest way to do things, and it shows you also a link and on which you can listen and learn that it's actually great, but it can be also a curse, blessing, a curse, a blessing. For instance, qtile is crashing. Type skel, qtile is fixed. i3 is crashing, okay, skel. So some of these things are really important for a comma and a semicolon and a tab and anything, right? And it just ends. The correct code is in your etc skel, and basically we're copying the information from the etc skel. So I could do this. Control A, Control C, and then Control V. That's etc skel. Well, no, because this is not making a backup. If I do this, it's making a backup. Look at the folders. I say yes, and you have a backup just of the .config. And then you can compare again because you have a backup. And then you say the same thing, file filters off, and here you see the changes. And if you say no, I don't want variety to do whatever it does, right? And you go change it back. Oh, shouldn't have done that. That's not a file, that's a database. So the config here, if you say, nah, the neofetch, I like my neofetch the way it is, you put your backup back. The backup is back. You can put all the backup back, right? Until it's blue at the top. If it's blue at the top, you know it's exactly the same thing. Files are identical. So your backup is back. Your setting is back. You've overwritten the neofetch setting of ArcoLinux, which is okay, right? You're the end user. You decide what you put in there. Voila. That's I think everything. Video of 30 minutes, that's long enough, but it's also educational, and that's what we try to be. So you can stand on your own 2 feet and say, okay, I don't need ArcoLinux anymore. I got Arch and I can do my thing with it. That's actually the end goal, right? Or anything Arch based, of course. I'm thinking. We are rolling. We saw that there was nothing to do, right? How to be rolling, super shift enter. We saw there was the binary folder here, which is super interesting. And there was one more thing. Here, stay rolling, 2024, I'll make another one saying how to move from 24.03 to 20.04. Nothing to do, basically, will be the message. Since it was a fix, yeah, paru bin and paru git, and that's all it is. And yeah, okay. So there was one thing I remembered to share with you. So if you compare again, it's always there to compare. This one is new, right? It's not in the older version, it's now, so that's new. And all the rest we have discussed. Okay, so ArcoLinux change theme was that. We have how many desktops again? 37, I think, 37. Nimdo being the last one. And we have here the ArcoLinux change theme. Have a look at it. I've made a video about it, saying basically Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and saying Eric. It can never be overwritten. I don't know, your name is Eric, right? So this will never be overwritten. So make it a unique name. And all you need to do is change some things. I want that theme always. I want those icons always. I want that font always. I want the cursor that way. And it's going to set everything and anything. Meaning it's the dconf that's going to be changed. It's going to be the GTK3 changed. It's going to be XFCE changed. It's going to be GTK-RC changed, right? Anything you're on, even the user share icons default index theme is going to be changed. And in one go, one script, everything is set the way you like. So that's the latest script in the .bin. But like I said, if you do skel, your settings are overwritten. So I'm smart. I'm making a copy with my own name. This will never be overwritten. And I can just run this from anywhere. Done. Check. Okay. So that's the last thing to tell. And voila, that's how we update. That's how we stay rolling. Again, guys, this will never change ever, right? Fixed moment in time, we need it. We ask you, type ISO, and then we know what do we change the last 6 months. Okay, it might be this. That's how we need it, right? It's not for saying you're up to date or you're complete. This is how you be up to date. The video, following videos like this, typing update, typing up all, skel, think about skel. Do I want those updates that are in each skel in my system? Yes, no, decide. All right, cheers.